Hello and good morning. Happy Wednesday, November 17th. It's 10 o'clock in the morning and I am freaking out. I seriously have never done a live where I really have no plans. This is me being really vulnerable and really brave right now with you, but I know this community of creatives is so supportive and so inspiring that I am ready to take this challenge on. So we are going to do some art journaling today without any agenda, without any motive. This is usually me doing it by myself. So the reason it's scary for me is because I'm not used to sharing the hesitation and the rethinking. You all know that if I don't like something, I start again from scratch. I just gesso all over it. But just doing it live in front of an audience is a little bit nerve-wracking. I'm seeing people saying hi to me. Thank you so much for being here. I was honestly just blown away by the response to this because I was sharing a journal page that I was finishing up. When was it? Earlier last week. And I just happened to say, let's just journal together. I thought maybe 5 people would be interested. Turns out over 350 people registered for this session, and not everybody is going to be live here to do this session with me. So if you're watching this on replay, just know that the people who are here live are going to help shape where things go today. And that is really because I want you to know that I did not plan anything. Like, I have been thinking about various themes because I'm like, what am I going to do? What if, everything falls apart? But to truly let go, I have to be honest and just let you determine where this hour and a half takes us. So I'm going to go by your choices. I don't know what your choices are going to be when I ask you questions. I will wait for you to respond. And then based on what you say, we are going to journal. And if you want, the format is going to be free-flowing. If you want, you can also go with the choices that are being presented by the community in the chat, or you can choose your own thing, whatever you're feeling in the moment. It doesn't have to be what I'm doing. It absolutely never has to be what I'm doing. But as people are joining in, I see lots of familiar names, and people are like tuning in from all kinds of different places in America and Canada. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon for those of you in a different time zone. Good evening to people in New Zealand. Thank you all for being here. While we're waiting for people to chime in, join in, it's only 3 minutes past 10. So I'll take the next 2 minutes to show you a mixed media journal that I just recently did for graphics arts. And I am really excited about this because this was one of the most intense and intensive mixed media spread that I have done. I do mixed media with my hands. I usually use, acrylic paints, and I will add some textures here and there, and use stencils and stamps and freehand drawing, and add some collaging material in terms of newspaper or just die cuts that are lying around. But this was a different thing altogether. So I just want to show you, this is live on my YouTube. The process of this is live on my YouTube channel that you can go ahead and watch later. I'll share a link in the follow-up email I send after this live ends. But I just want to show you the spread because I am so proud of it. And also it's just something I've never done before. So this is the spread I made for graphics. And this was an ode to summer, end of summer spread that I had done. Now, most of you who are tuning in today know that I fell down in September. So this was due in September and just didn't happen because of my fall. And then it took me 5 weeks to actually be able to start using my hands again in a way that I could do all of these. There are so many different things going on in this spread, and there is a process video. So you'll actually see me make this spread on my YouTube channel. But this is a very different take on what a mixed media journal spread can look like. This is not paper. This is craft plastic. The white stuff that you see here, this is craft plastic. And I absolutely love craft plastic because it can take anything pretty much. It can take so many different kinds of mediums. It's a joy to work with. You can emboss on it. You can stick stuff on it. You can scratch on it. It just takes a whole lot of stuff. So this is Graphics' newest mixed media journal that comes with different substrates. I cannot show you these pages in here because they're for another project that you will be seeing a video of later, but it's got chipboard cover, it's got Duralar, it's got acetate, it's got craft plastic, both white and black. And what I did in this, and this is again, as people are tuning in, I'm just showing you another form of mixed media journaling. So this one has glaze pens over here. So you can see, I'm just showing you the different mediums that you can use on this substrate. Glaze pens over here. This was a stamp from Unity Stamp Company. And I used glaze pens over here. I used Nuvo drops over here. This is their funky film that I die cut. It's really cute. It's got the silver sequence pattern. These are stamps from a journaling kit from Everyday Explorers. And I used embossing glaze for this one, embossing powder for this one. So again, both heat-based. And this over here is their metallic foil. It comes in all of these different colors. And I just thought I'd stamp on it and see what it looks like. So I stamped this cycle on. It's amazing when it catches the light. You see it right there. When it catches the light just right, that effect cannot be reproduced on anything else, I feel. So this was a fun experiment to just stamp it on that. And then here's my shrink film conga line that I had made for Colorado Craft Company. I had turned this into a pin, backpack pin for my daughter, but she went to school with it and then all the kids wanted one. And she said there was a big fight that broke out. So I decided to take it off of her backpack and use it here. So this was Graphics' shrink film that I had stamped the conga line on and then colored it. And I adhered it on here. This here is, when I have time, just paint on Duralar and I use acrylics and alcohol inks. So this background is from that. Then again, some shrink film here, a pocket. This is again metallic foil. I just made some surfboards. This is a pinwheel that has glitter pens. This is glaze pens with a stamp. This is again the metallic foil punched out. And then I made a little tag over here on black craft plastic. So again, not paper. So this is black craft plastic that has these footsteps. And I wrote memories with a gold pen. You can see all of this being made in my on my YouTube channel. The video went live this morning. Then here, I just love this. This is a Polaroid camera from Concord and 9th. It's a stamp and die cut set. And then when you actually pull, you can see a photo peek out. This is our friend's dog, and he was a COVID pup, and he is just the most amazing thing ever in this whole wide world. I love him so much. So I had to put we've spent so many evenings in their backyard just playing with him. So he had to be part of my summer. And then this is on Duralar. This is a watercolor painting made with embossed. So this is an embossed image, and then watercolor painting on Duralar. And then this is again copper embossing right here for the picnic basket. Again, when it catches the light, it just has a different feel to it. Then this is on Duralar, but this also has a lot of metallic foil under it that you can't really see because I messed up and I wanted to hide it, and I covered it up with stamping on top of Duralar again. Another shrink film here. And then I just added some brads and some stamping here. So it's really cool. And there's just so many different little bits in this. It's something I've never done before. And I just love how it came together and that everything could be adhered onto this with their double tack mounting film. So have a look at the process video for this. It might encourage you and inspire you to do something different, go a little, a different route than what we normally do in our journals, which is this one, which we are going to use today. So for today's exercise, here's what I'm thinking. If you have a journal, grab your journal, or if you don't have a journal and you just want to use a piece of cardstock paper, that's totally fine. Use a piece of cardstock paper or watercolor paper, your call. Whatever paper you feel can take on acrylic paints, because I do want to use acrylic paints today. And here's what I'll do. I'll open this and I'll add my face over here. So my style of journaling, again, is very, very free form. Lots of acrylic paint here. I will end up using some color shift. I know that. So you'll need a journal. You will need parchment paper if you're using a journal. If you're just using a piece of paper, you obviously don't need the parchment. But I like to have some parchment paper in between as I go to the edges when I'm spreading paint with my sponge or with my fingers. It usually carries over to the next page if I don't use parchment paper. So it's basically going to act as a divider in between the two pages, the previous page and the one we're going to be working on. So parchment paper is going to be critical. I use my hands a lot, so I keep these wet wipes handy. If you don't have wet wipes, have a paper towel or something, because your hands are going to get messy with I also use glue with my hands, so I just use my hands. So you will need some kind of wiping thing. A rag will also do. I also usually have my cotton rag here. So just whatever you like wiping your hands with, have that handy. We might use, I think we'll use some stencils. We may or may not use stamps. I have behind me over here, let me see if you can get a look. Right here are all my pens. So these are my distress crayons, my black and white markers, my Caran d'Ache Neocolor crayons, my Stabilo pencils, my Derwent Inktense pencils, my Posca markers, and my Sakura pens. They're all here to my left. I grab and go as I want to do things. So if you don't have any of your pens handy, just grab a couple, whichever ones you want to work with today, just grab them and have them accessible. And then we'll see what happens, right? I will go and grab some gesso. Oh, and also if you want to use stamps, get a stamp pad. I will go and grab some gesso, and then we'll talk about how you can dictate where this next hour goes. So I'm getting my gesso, and I'm also going to grab my super heavy gel. So I'm grabbing these two things. This is my super heavy gel in lieu of glue. You can also use liquid adhesive. You can use whatever adhesive you prefer. I don't know in terms of textures what I'm going to be pasting on. So I'm just going to use my super heavy gel, and I've got my gesso. In place of white acrylic paint, I usually end up using gesso. I like it. It's cheaper than the golden fluid acrylics, and it's also just, it gives tooth to the paper. Okay, so let's see. I see 33 people are live right now, and I'm going to let you decide what colors we should use today. So pick any 3 colors. The first 3 I see pop up are the ones I'm going to pick, and then I'll pick one by closing my eyes. That'll be my mystery color. So just shout out your colors in the chat, and then let's have some fun. You're going to dictate where this goes today. The first 3, so it's really random because we don't know who's going to be the first person that I see commenting, because by the time you comment and by the time I see your comment, there's a bit of a lag. So let me know in the comments what you would like for our colors to be. Pink. Pink. Let's get pink. Okay. So I have a magenta and I have a fluorescent pink. The fluorescent pink is really, really bright and I rarely use it. So I'm going to go with fluorescent pink because I rarely use it. Okay, so we got pink. Let's see the next one. Next color. Oh my goodness, so many of you are responding. Purple, orange, and brown, blue, green, turquoise, teal, yellow, blue. Okay, so let's do blue because I see many people said blue. Let's just do a blue. And you said multiple blues. So I'm going to get a teal and I'm almost out of this. This is one of my favorite colors. And I got a Prussian blue. So I've got those. And let's see. We have purple, orange, and brown, blue, green, turquoise, teal. You know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to do an orange. Did people say orange 2 times? Yes, people said orange 2 times. So I'm going to do an orange. Let's see, I have 2 oranges here, and I have a couple of oranges. So I'm just going to get my oranges. And let's see which one kind of goes. I'm kind of trying to see how I'm putting these together. This is what I usually do. I put them together and I see if it's getting too much. So I'm not using a fluorescent orange because I have a fluorescent pink. Now between these 2 oranges, this is a vivid red orange and this is a pyrrole orange. I mean, I could go either way. So I'm going to just close my eyes and, okay. So we're going to use this, and I'll pick a yellow since I said I was going to use one color. So I love, 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 love the color shift yellow. So those are our colors, and we have the gesso, so that's going to be our white, and we might use some black. We'll see. These are the colors. Okay, now for stencils. So any particular ideas for stencils? Florals, abstract, geometric, What do you want me to use for the stencils? I have a bunch of favorites. I can also do, shout out what you will, but what I will also do is be mindful of picking some out in that category that you tell me that I haven't used in a while, haven't used at all, or rarely use. So those are going to be my stencils. But shout out if you have any preferences in terms of shapes, abstracts, geometric, floral, faces. I have mandala patterns. I'm turning and looking at my stencil carousel in the back. Mandala-ish, okay, bubbles. Okay, so I'll get some bubble-ish, circle-ish ones, and I'll get the mandala-ish, and I'm seeing abstract or geometric. So let me grab a couple of stencils. I will be mindful. I will turn my laptop around so you can see where I am at. I will be in this part of my room where you see the stencil carousel. So let me grab some stencils. So we said abstract, we said bubbles, we said mandala-ish. So I love this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab stencils that I love, but I'll make sure I limit those to 2. So I have this one that I love. This is from Jelly Arts. So I grabbed this one. I'll get one more that I love. And then I'm going to get 3 stencils that I have either never used, I'm afraid of using, or just don't care for. Okay? So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So I'll pick up another one of my favorites first. And I see that people are leaning towards abstract. So let me see another abstract that we could use that I love. I love using this one. So I've got that. You forget who this is from. This might be another Jelly Arts one, but it's a slimline, so I'm not sure. So I'll use this stencil too. And then let me grab some mandala-ish ones. So I have this stencil that I haven't used in a while. This is from Giovanna, who is an artist for Jelly Arts and also for graphics. She's based in Italy and she designs her own stencils. And so this is one of hers. So I've got one mandala and I'll get another mandala. Let me see one mandala that I haven't used in a while or ever. So I have this nifty carousel here, so it helps me find stencils easily. And then I can really pick out something that I haven't used in a while easily enough. Let's see, mandala, I don't really have any other mandala designs that I haven't used in a while. But let's see, let's get some new stencils in the meantime while I'm looking for a mandala. So circles, I know a lot of people said, I've never used this stencil. I've never used this stencil. So I haven't used these 2. These are from Maker Forte. I have not used these 2. I purchased them when the new release came out a couple of weeks ago. So I got this one. This is called Radiating Lines. This is from Maker Forte. And then this one is Dots for Days from Maker Forte. At the end of the live, I'll also send links to everyone in case you want to get these stencils for yourselves. Okay, we have that, we have that. I'm looking for another mandala design that I haven't used in a while. We keep using this one all the time. Ooh, somebody said bubbles. I've got bubbles. Okay, I really don't use this one. I really don't use this one. I think I might have used this maybe once when I spray painted with it. We've got a little elephant in there too. So I think we have enough stencils. So let's see. And again, this is something that you can totally do. You don't have to crowdsource an opinion for what to use. All you have to do is close your eyes or decide. I'm going to use 5 stencils today, and 3 of those are going to be stencils that I never use. I have them, but I don't use them. I don't know why. But I'm going to use 3 stencils that I don't use, and I'm going to use 2 stencils that I absolutely love. So, there's a choice. It's made for you easily. You don't have to crowdsource this. That's what I do. And it's challenging and it's hard because, you keep going back to the favorite ones because you have that feeling of comfort with them and you know what you're going to do with them and you have a vision. It's just easy. we're trying to not do easy today. We'll do some easy, but we also want to push ourselves out of our comfort zone and see what happens. Really like give in. Just don't try to control. That's what this whole session is about. Do not try to control the outcome. Be in the process. So, and once you have this confluence of things that are unknown to you, I think it just makes it so much easier to let go. It's also going to be hard for a lot of you who will be possibly freaking out about how all of this is going to come together because you've never done anything like this before. Trust me, I am feeling the same way, especially because my face is out there and I'm doing this live. But I get that feeling every single time. There is that fear of, what if it looks like crap? It might. And there is usually that stage in between where it looks like that, where everything feels too busy, too random, too just not coming together. But then it does. So we just have to push through the uncomfortable bits of it. So let me just, again, switch the camera so you can see. Let's see, switch the camera so you can see what stencils we picked up. There we go. So I have the bubbles. I love this one, is one of my favorites. I don't use it as much as I want to. I don't know why, but I like this one. And then there's another one that's new to me, which is this circle. So you can see this, how new this is. This came in a couple of weeks ago. I just took it out of its packaging last week and hanged it up on my stencil rack. So this is new, and it's this should be fun. So 2 circles, actually 3 circles, because I also picked out another favorite one of mine, which is the Jelly Arts one. It's this one. I just absolutely love. I love this one. I've made coasters with this in the past for Thanksgiving gifts, and this is a great one to have. And then for abstract geometric, I got 2 out. So I got this one. And you know, they're not going to play nice with each other. I can already see it becoming very, very busy, but this is what we picked. So this is what we're going to work with. So I have this one and I have this one. So these 2 are my abstract geometric patterns. And then for mandala, we got this one, which basically has a couple of mandala designs and an elephant on it. And we have this one from Giovanna. I believe this is a Sizzix stencil or something I got from Michael's, I don't know, 10 years ago. This is a really old stencil. This is a more recent one, about 2 years ago. It even has a butterfly stuck to it from when I made cards using it. This is from Giovanna. So let's get started. We're going to get our hands messy, so just be prepared for that. I still don't know what we're going to do. We'll see what theme emerges. And if your hands are messy and you're not able to type in, I completely understand. See if you can use your voice to text feature on your devices. If you have questions and your hands are getting messy, or just keep some wipes close by. If you're watching this on replay, you don't have to worry about that. I'm going to put my parchment paper here first and just protect my pages. You don't need a lot. You know what? I also might just use, I have circle cookie cutters. I might just use circle cookie cutters. We'll see. Just gonna stick this in here. I'm very frugal about my parchment paper. I don't know why it feels so precious to me. I usually don't tear out a lot. And I'm gonna use a clip just so I have this page. Understand that we're working on it today. So let me get my binder clips. Okay, and oh, you have that exact mandala stencil. It is a lot of stencils for those pages, yes. And I might not, I never said I'm going to use all of them. But I have them if I choose to use parts of them. I'm not going to use all of them in their entirety. But I have them. Those are the stencil choices that were made for today, so I have those. I'm not saying I'm going to use all of them, but we shall see how it goes. That's the whole point of this experiment. So also same thing with colors, you know, don't feel committed. If you've picked out 5 colors, and when you start putting colors on your page and you feel 3 colors are it, they're doing it for you, don't feel like you have to use all 5. There are no, you are in charge. You are making up your own rules as you go along. You don't have to anything. You do what you feel like doing. There's no have-tos in my world. There shouldn't be in yours either when it comes to art. There is no reason for you to conform. There is no reason for you to commit. Commit to finishing what you started. Do that and push through the difficult bits, but don't commit to using every single thing that you got to the table. You don't have to. And also another thing I will say, we have, yes, locked in our colors and yes, locked in our stencils, but that does not mean that I will not be picking up my pencils and my pens and my pastels and other stuff, or my texture paste. It does not mean any of that. It all depends on how this goes. You know, what I feel the page needs as we are creating. And I will explain to you why I feel it needs what it needs as we go along. So this is a kind of conversation that I have with myself in my head. My daughter usually hears me talking out loud as I'm journaling, talking to myself. So this is no different than that for me. This is going to still be me talking out loud as I'm doing it. So I might say, oh, that doesn't work. I'm just going to scrap this. And I'll scrap it, but then I'll try to explain why I'm scrapping something if I end up scrapping it. Okay, so when we don't know what to do, we just start doing it. I did not think of picking up orange. That was the first color my eye landed on. So that's the first color I'm going to do. I'm going to use a brush. I'm going to use a brush because I just have these brushes these are unopened brushes. I'm using things, people, that I have purchased in past years that I haven't used. When I clean up from time to time, and I did a lot of cleaning up when I was not being able to do any art with my hands, I found things. So I'm using those things. So I bought these obviously for a reason, and then I've never used them. So here we have brushes. And these are relatively very, very cheap brushes. They're like $7 for 3 brushes, different sizes. So if you want brushes, get brushes. Okay, let's see how this feels. Oh, that's a luscious color, isn't it? That's such a happy, warm color. I love it. It kind of mimics my mood today, and I'll tell you what my mood is. My mood is one of appreciating autumn. This is a perfect autumn color. Oh, I like how the texture from the bristles, it's nice. I'm going to add some yellow to this. So my mood, and again, you'll hear me talk as I'm doing this. My mood is one of celebrating autumn and also one of gratitude. I'm feeling sunny inside. I'm feeling bright. I'm glad that these colors were chosen for me today. Because yes, that's what these colors are. They are bright and they're cheerful and they're autumn. They're pumpkin spice. And I love that. So this is what I usually do. I usually plop some paint down on one page, either the left or the right. Increasingly it's the right because the left is kind of, getting filled up. And then I just spread paint over here until it covers up the entire page. And then I kind of drag it over till my fingers are completely dry. In this case, I'm using a brush. So until my brush does not have any more paint left in it, I will keep doing this. That is my process. And I do not know why that is my process. It probably has something to do with the fact that I don't want any paint wasted. And I just want to, use all of it that's on the brush or on my finger. And I'm just loving how these brush strokes are making this texture. This is so cool. Well, I guess there was a reason I bought this. I'm going to keep looking up from time to time if people have questions about anything at all. It doesn't have to be about this particular journal page either. If you have any questions about journaling in general or about other things, just let me know. And I will keep looking up from time to time and try to, and I just love this. This is just so beautiful. The other thing you will see me doing, because I'm doing this unfiltered and live, is that if I see something that I really like on the page, I will sometimes take a minute to just appreciate it in the moment because I know it's going to change. So I encourage you to do that because it really allows you to be present when you're noticing these little things and you're appreciating them as you're creating them. It really does bring you back to the here and now, one with the page. So I highly encourage you to notice and appreciate. It's not, I remember one time my daughter said to me, I did something and I said, wow, that looks amazing. And she came over and she goes, she looks at it and she looks at me and she goes, you're bragging about your own stuff? And I'm like, yeah, but that's fine to do. I'm just appreciating. I'm not like saying, you know, woohoo, I made this. This is super awesome. There's nothing wrong in saying that either. But what I was doing was just and for her, that was like, wait, we can do that? Yes, you can. You are allowed to give yourself a pat on the back. And really, this is not me doing it. This is just kind of happening. I did not know when I picked up this brush today. Why did I pick up this brush today? I don't know. I just saw it and I figured, you know, I haven't used it and I'm going to encourage myself to use things that are in my closet. So I'm going to use it. Okay. Do you want me to move the camera up a bit so you can get a better view of the whole thing? Let me just see if I can do that. There. I think that's a better view because we're not doing any detailed stuff right now. It's just... So once I have my, see now I didn't think that I had enough color to go all the way across, but I did. And I just absolutely cannot get over this texture. I don't have this texture in any of my pages. I'm gonna go for teal because this just needs teal right now. So why does this need teal? Because teal is the complete opposite of what I have. And then here I go. This is what I feel like doing. There's the less hesitation you have in doing stuff like this. It is all random. It is all random. Trust me on that. It is all random. It is not waiting, not thinking, not overthinking, just doing. Just do. That would be my biggest takeaway from today for you, is to just do. Because once you start thinking if this goes or doesn't go, or I'm feeling like making circles right now. It might be influenced by the fact that you guys said to pick out circles and bubbles, and that's the first stencil I see lying to my right-hand side. So, you know, that's influence. You just influenced my mind to want that. And I am not overthinking it. I just picked up that teal and I just started making circles. So don't hesitate. If you feel like drawing lines, draw lines. If you feel like making boxes, make boxes. If you feel like just splattering paint all over, do that. Please do that. Do not hesitate. The less you hesitate, the more organic, the more natural, the more freeing your art will be, and the more liberated you will feel while making your art. Because I'm going to use this wipe. I don't know why. I just thought of that. I'm just going to use this wipe. Oh, I like that. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking away some of the color from the middle with my wipe. And I like what it just did. It kind of added dimension and depth at the same time. And you don't have to do this. Again, none of these techniques that I'm using today are for you to follow as is. It just kind of gives you ideas to the possibility of doing things differently, to really leaning into your intuition and not questioning it, not saying, I don't know if I should do this or what's going to happen. Well, let's find out what's going to happen, right? If you don't do it, you're never going to find out what's happened. You're just going to be curious about it. And if somebody else does it, they won't do it at the moment you would have done it, and they wouldn't do it with the colors that you would have done it with. You know, there are so many variables when you think, oh, I'll see if somebody else has done it. I'm sure somebody else has done it. I'm always sure somebody else has done it. But have they done it in the context of what you were feeling in that moment, in the context of the colors you were choosing, in the context of the path you were going to go on? No, they haven't, because they cannot, because only you can do that. So, you know, take charge of that, because only you can do that. We have some fluorescent pink that I want to use, and I think I'm going to use my stencil. I'm going to use this radiating line stencil over here with the pink, and see, I haven't really used this fluorescent pink. So I don't know what it's going to do. And I probably should get some extra parchment paper. So I'm just going to use this part of the parchment paper here. And I probably should use a stencil brush, but I am not using a stencil brush because a stencil brush gives me very fine lines, and I don't care for fine lines right now. So I'm just going to go in with my fingers, see what happens. And again, I didn't really think of where to place it. I just gravitated towards this corner and I put it there, and I'm just kind of massaging the paint through. Again, if you are a person who does not like using your fingers, you don't have to. This is just my comfort zone. I like doing that. I'm going to go over this blue over here. Oh, it makes a nice purple. That's really cool. Also, don't quote me on this being the way to use stencils. Pretty sure it's not. But this is what works for me. This is what makes it easy for me. This is what gives me joy. So I give two hoots about what should be done and shouldn't be done. And I say this with a lot of passion because I've had people tell me how to use my products. Mostly coming from a good place, sometimes not. But I resent that because really it's my choice to use it the way I want to use it. At the end of the day, it has to make me feel good. I feel good using my fingers, so I'm going to use my fingers. Not asking you to do it, but sharing how I do it. I love that. I love what it did over here. That is just so cool. Okay, so I want to continue with this. This is a really nice stencil. So this is from Maker Forte. I fell in love with it when Alicia and Alex were showing this stencil on a live. And I think Alicia is live here today. And I just had to buy it right away and I really didn't know what I would use it for. So here what you see me doing is, this is purposeful what I'm doing right now. What I want to do is I want to align this radiating stencil right here with my circle to continue the pattern over here to the end of this page. I don't want to go over to the next page. So I'm just going to use the same paint here. And essentially what I'm doing is covering up this entire circle and using up all of the paint that I squeezed out. Usually that is my motivation, is to use up all the paint that I've squeezed out. I don't squeeze out a lot, but I do want to use up everything I've squeezed out. So I'm doing that. And this is my usual technique. I just support my finger, my middle finger with my index finger as I'm doing this, which is why now you know why I was not doing any of this stuff when my bones broke. I just love that. My gosh, that is gorgeous. And you see what's happened because I was not using a stencil brush. Let me zoom in and show you. I'll show you what happens when you're able to do that. I'm gonna zoom in. So when you are not using a stencil brush and you're using paint with your hands, you get cool stuff like this. Do you see those veins from that extra paint? You see that texture? I did not use texture, any texture. I just used my fingers, and look at that right here. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I notice that gets me excited. This is really this is my jam. This really makes me feel happy. Okay, put my face back in up here. All right, so we've got that. And then let's see if we can use some of that mandala design that we got. I'm going to contrast that mandala design over here. So this is just kind of laying the groundwork, you know, what you're doing here. Maybe I could use this circle as my guide for the mandala. I still don't know where this is going, people. So usually that's what happens. I'm just trying things out and seeing. Oh, I got some pink. And another thing that happens with me a lot is accidents. A lot. I am not joking about that. I have so many accidents. It's not even funny. But then they get incorporated. I mean, they were meant to be. That's how I see them. They were meant to be. What do I want to do here? I don't want to specifically get... So this is, I'm just realizing as I'm doing this is a finer stencil. It's not got very broad This is probably not going to show the stencil itself. This is going to be more like a background. This will melt into the background also because I didn't use the bright color, bright contrasting color. I'm going for a yellow, and this is a color shift yellow. So it's not that bright to begin with. It might look very bright, but it's when it catches the light, it's bright. So I'm thinking what's going to happen is this is going to be more of a subtle background element, not a foreground feature. And I'm just moving around the page. So what I did here was I did the bottom right, and that's a very powerful stencil there with a very bold color. That's very in your face. And then I went to the top left or middle left circle because I figured that I could use this mandala design to kind of play with that circle as the center. And I'm not going to cover up all of the blue in the middle, but I am going around it. And I don't know what this is going to look like when I'm done with it. So we'll just see what happens. And I might, if I don't like it, I'm just going to scrap it, but we'll see how it makes me feel when I take this off. Yeah, see, this is more of a background, and I don't really care for it on this side, so I'm just going to smudge it. Again, if you don't like something, this is your journal page. You decide if you want to keep it or you don't want to keep it. Okay, I want to do some bubbles here, and I want to use this dark blue. I want to see how this looks. Actually, what I want to do is I'm going to use that in conjunction with my yellow because the yellow was right there. So I'm just going to see. Ooh, this is intense. This is so intense. Okay, this is going to be fun because it's circles and then more circles, but different colors of circles overlapping each other. And you can see as I'm doing this with my finger, I'm kind of fading out. And then that happens. Just fading out, it's not, you don't need a whole lot of color. And I fade out to the point where it feels dry on my fingers. So just, if you're using makeup sponges or you're using brushes or things like that, just kind of fade out. Now see, this is all blotchy over here because there was too much paint. Absolutely don't like that. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to do that over there. You really are getting to see this unfiltered. These, I don't normally edit things out. I explain them in my videos as I make my videos, but there are times when stuff like this happens and I'm like, you know what? I tried it. I didn't like it. I let it go. I'm not going to dwell on it. What I am going to do is I am going to put some orange right there. And I'm just going to have it on my fingers. And I'll go up. I don't know why I feel like doing that, but I'm just going to go up with my fingers with that orange. It's almost like the ashes of whatever I didn't like, the smoke rising up, or the things I make up. Okay, so just doing that, cleaning my fingers, not really doing anything fancy here, just cleaning my fingers. So we've got a natural partition going over here. And I want to do some mark making over here. So I'm going to use my Stabilo pencil. I'll take my yellow because I was gravitating towards yellow. And I'm going to just randomly make marks. So I'm just making a straight line here, a dashed line here with my Stabilo pencil. These are water-based. And I just love them. And the other option that you can have is your aquarelle. Those are thinner, but also water-based. And again, no specific idea. I just felt like doing straight lines. I'm doing those. I'm going to take my blue and I'm just going to circle around a scribbly circle here. I'm going to leave that one be because that's kind of part of the mandala. Scribbly circle here. And now these don't even look like circles on this side because of all of this going on here. I do want to use this radiating stencil again on this side here. but I will use it with orange. Why am I using orange here? I am not sure. I think I just don't like how dark that went because I'm not feeling dark. I'm not feeling dark at all. And I think that's why that's not sitting well with me. I want to lighten it up. I don't want it to be dark. I went for the dark blue because I thought it would add contrast, but clearly, you know what? I'm going to take out my gesso. I'm just going to lighten this up. And you can see my gesso is just, I got to clean this lid one at some point. One day it's going to happen. I'm just going to take out my gesso. And again, I'm using my parchment paper here as my palette because I forgot to get my palette paper out. So I'm just going to lighten things up over here. So I've got my orange already and just adding some white to it. Not stark white, just kind of mixing it in with my orange. Just to lighten it up because it went too dark. And again, you can totally see how organic this is because this is, you have to be in the moment to play like this. You cannot plan this thing out. Maybe you can. I don't have the skill set to do that. I just go with the flow and see what seems to be working, what doesn't seem to be working, and take it from there. Oh, using a small gel plate for your palette is a good idea too. Okay, so I kind of like that. I don't like how this area is just, I'm not going to worry about that just yet. Okay, I have that. I just want to make some streaks. I feel like making streaks. So I'm going to use my pink. Look at that pink. It's just like, it's a fluorescent pink. And I just love what it does with that blue when it meets it. That purple is just so amazing. It just takes you on a journey, doesn't it? A page like this when you don't know what you're doing. And I will, for those of you doing this session with me, let you know of a hashtag that you can use if you are on my Facebook group, Mansi Makes With You, to use that hashtag when you're posting your journal pages from today, because I would love to see what you did in this hour and a half while I'm doing this, because you get to see what I'm doing. I don't get to see what you're doing until you share on my Facebook page. Okay, so I just added some white dots here, again, to lighten it up because I just feel like this needs something. It's definitely a mess. It's a hot mess right now. It really is because I don't know what I'm doing. Never know what I'm doing, but we'll see what happens. And maybe today is the day when it doesn't come together. You know, I'm just going to wipe my hands because they did kind of get out of control. I think I want to use my, I just happened to glance to my left and I have this unopened package of cookie cutters. Circular cookie cutters that I'm looking at, and I just had an idea come in my head to use that dark blue as an outline, maybe. I'm not sure. And maybe, you know, it's sometimes a good thing to do to give yourself pause is to write, which I'm about to in a minute because I do have a lot of thoughts swirling in my head right now. And I want to get them out, which is what part of journaling is to get your innermost thoughts out in the form of color, shape, words, you know, however. I don't know, I'm just kind of, let's see what this does. Okay, I like that. It's a very circular themed page, isn't it, suddenly? But I like these circles, what they're doing here. They're adding a bit of lightness to this. They're adding another piece to the chaos. There's a lot of chaos here. It's almost like a stark contrast right now. It's left side is very calm and zen, maybe because of the mandala, maybe because of the colors. And the right side is just chaotic. And I wonder if that's kind of in the me in the moment. I wonder if that's what this is. It's just an expression of what I am feeling like in the moment, because there is a lot of chaos in my mind. There's so many things right now that I'm trying to balance. It's, you know, the end of the year and there's just so much stuff to do. On the personal front, I'm going to write because I feel like I have this urge to write right now. I'm going to use, let me see what I can use to write with. This might be too sharp. So I have these tools over here. These are like this one here. These are for, they're clay tools, but I sometimes will use them. I don't have any wet paint right now that I can scribble on or into with these. But let me see if I can do that because I really do need to write. I think there's some wet paint over here. Yes. So I'm just going to write. I am feeling overwhelmed and grateful all at the same time. And it's hard to balance these emotions with grace and calm. I usually am freaking out about things that are coming up in the short term, but don't give a thought to things in the long term because I feel like the universe has that sorted out for me already. So here we are, journaling as a group, hoping to release that inner chaos and find some calm in the process. Okay, so now I got it out of me. It's not legible. It's only, I'll again pick this up so you can see. What I wrote is basically scratches. It's scratched through the wet paint in parts, like over here. You can see it. I'll try to tilt so that you can see in the light. But you can't really see it. The point of writing in your journal usually is not so that other people can see what you've written. The point of writing in your journal is so that you give your feelings an outlet. Sometimes I will write in a way that's legible, like on this page I wrote in a way that's actually legible. You can actually go in, have a closer look and read. Sometimes I will write with a white pen, and sometimes I will write multiple times because as this page evolves, as this page changes, my feelings around it might change too. So, you know, that's kind of part of the process. I like the yin and yang aspect of it. I still feel like this page is very, very chaotic. I still don't know where we're going to end up with it, but I'm going to start adding textures. Now is the point when I want to add some textures. So I'm going to just look around and see what I have. I have a die cut over here, which I used in the previous page. That might work as a band over here. Actually, it fits perfectly and it's a blue. Okay, so I'm going to use this over here for sure. So let's take out that gesso. And again, I just, you know, it's in the moment, I just said I feel like doing that, and I'm doing it. I haven't forgotten about these circle and this other mandala stencil. It's here. I'm not sure if I'll use it, but they're here. So I'm keeping them to my left. So I'm going to get out some of this. So the way I use my heavy gel is I scoop it out usually with a palette knife. And then I just use my fingers. And then they get really messy, but that's how I do it. You could use a glue brush if you want. I just feel for me it's more overhead to use a glue brush and then have to go clean it. It's much easier for me to just clean my hands. Just wipe them with a wipe and I'm done. And the way I store my gel is I put this wrap around so that moist air doesn't get in there and it doesn't dry up, because I've had multiple bottles of these dry up over the years. So, and this is expensive, so I don't want to, I want to use it. So I'm just going to put the heavy gel right here on this strip where I want to attach my die cut. The die cut is from lace die cut that Tim Holtz made. That's where this die cut is from. And I had it lying around because I used it in the previous page. I used half of it. And then I think I used this in a gel plate print, which is why it's blue. I think, yes, for that fall card that I shared the video of last week, or maybe earlier this week. That's where it's from, that blue, because I brayered on the blue to get an impression on my gel plate. So I'm just adding some more gel on top to seal it in, just stay stuck. It does kind of change how the page feels suddenly to me. It's gone from being something I want to like avoid looking at, like I really want to avoid looking at this part, to something that's becoming a bit more, it's becoming softer. It just feels softer. To me it does. That's what it's doing for me. I'm going to get some burlap out. Some burlap. I don't usually move from my table. I usually just use whatever I have. And I'm going to open my drawer and see the other stuff I have in here. So I usually have my die cuts in here in this box and some words. I also have another tray that is full of stuff that is not coming out right now. It's just stuck. But I'll just pull out some things from it and see if anything feels like it could belong. So these are all my scraps of paper I never throw away. Some gears over here. And I have some labels. I have some, this is a shipping label thing. Could even do some punches. Could even pick some punches out and put those in. And then I have some more gears. So let's see where this goes. What feels like it belongs. I definitely want to add burlap. That was the first thing I reached out for. So I'm definitely adding the burlap. I know that I am. I have to get scissors to cut this. All right, I'm back. Any questions as we're working through this? I am still looking at the comments, and this probably feels very, very chaotic to you as you're doing it too. And if you're feeling frustrated, I am right there with you, because I'm feeling frustrated with how this page is right now too. I really don't like this part. It just feels really messed up. But I am again just going to trust the process and feel uncomfortable with this until I start feeling comfortable with it. So I added some burlap there, and I want to add something else. I'm just going to rummage through this whole pile of stuff and see. Oh, these gears might be fun. Or not. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm just going to build on the chaos. I'm just going to keep adding texture to the chaos that this page is. So if there's more, then your eye really doesn't know where to go, and then it's much easier later on to create a focal point, in my experience. May or may not happen today, but... And see, this is what I mean by accidents. So this paint was still wet over here, and then it kind of has to be smudged around. Okay, and so then adding another gear over here maybe. And truly, if you're thinking, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't. I really don't. Most of the time, I don't know what I'm doing. But I do know that it's fine to not know where you're doing in some aspects of your life, and art is definitely one of them. You don't have to have a plan, you don't have to have an agenda, you don't have to know it all. You can just be okay with failing. You can be okay with, you know, not knowing. You can be okay with a lot of stuff that people tell you you shouldn't be okay with, because make it. I don't want to make it. Okay, I'm gonna get some stamps. So I'm thinking I need some text in here. I already wrote what I was feeling like writing, but I feel like I want to get some stamps that have text, some script in them. So I'm just going to wipe my hands and I'm going to go get a couple of stamps. And then I think I want to do some mark making right after that before we finally decide where this is headed. So we've got some gears in there, we've got some burlap, we've got some die cut lace on one side. Everything is happening on this side. This is becoming a texture heavy side. So I do need to figure out what we're doing on this side, but I'm not there yet. I don't have any ideas for what I want to do on that side. So I'm just gonna get some stamps. It's also my way of buying time when I'm looking for things. I have some script stamps. I have a ledger stamp. I'll just bring these over so you can see what I'm getting. I don't know if I'll use all of them. I also just picked up an embossing folder because I saw it. Don't know why. It has leaves on it. So I got this stamp here. This has a rose and some text in the Victorian kind of script. Then there's this one that has a script also. I kind of like the small script. I like this. There's also some more script here. I think I'll just go with the first one that I picked out. So I'm just going to use that. And then I also got a background stamp that has a ledger pattern on it. So it has some numbers and some text, which is why I like this stamp. It's not just, this is by Wendy Vecchi. So it doesn't just have text, it has numbers and text, and I can see parts of it being used. So that, and then I got, I love, cannot say enough good things about this one. This is a Carabelle Studio stamp designed by Berhit Kopsin. I just absolutely love this one. I just usually stamp up parts of it and just use different parts. It has the lace over here. It has some of that punchinella pattern here. It has some musical notes. It has everything in my opinion, really. So I have my Hero Arts Intensified Black Pigment ink. I'm going to put my scissors away for now, and I'm going to take this stamp. And I usually do not use a stamping block when I am journaling. Usually don't, because I just don't want a crisp, clear image. I just want hints of something. You see, like that. So I just stamped in that one corner over there. I'll move my stamp around and just press on this corner here. I'm just getting some more elements on this page. That's all there is to it. It's just adding, I guess, chaos on this side for sure. Adding more to the chaos on this side. Got some lace over here in this corner that I'm stamping up. So just this corner, stamp it up. I'm gonna use that in conjunction with the lace over there. And sometimes it doesn't even show up, just like it happened right now. You know, because I am doing this in a very random fashion. I am not really using a stamping block, and I don't really know where. I have my ink sometimes, so I'm just kind of guessing, and that's fine because I don't really care to have anything. Okay, I just turned around as I was putting the stamp away and I saw this distress crayon called Tree Lot. It's green, and I just feel like I need to use this here, so I'm just using it here. Oh, as I'm smudging this, I can see some of my text show up, the scratches, the scribbles that I did. Some of that text is showing up. And I don't know why I gravitated towards the green. It just, I turned around, I looked at it. Maybe because there's a bit of green here. So this is me analyzing myself as I'm talking, but I do see a bit of green over here where the teal and the yellow interacted. And maybe that is why I went for a deeper green. I don't know, maybe that's the reason. But I like it. And I'm just smudging it with my finger. And it's not even showing up as green. But I know it's green, and I wanted to use it, so I used it. And maybe if I tilt it in the light, oh, it does shine. So this is from that Christmas series release that Tim did a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so here we are with this page. I don't know why. I have this intense urge. I'm sorry I went quiet for a minute, but I have this intense urge to cover this all up and make a house. I just want to make a house. And I don't know why. I want to do some mark making while I explore that idea in my head. So I have this acrylic pen. I reached for some red. I love making these marks with this red pen. This is from Jane Davenport. It's called Thriller Jacket. I also just love the name. Thriller Jacket. I usually will make marks in 3s or 5s. I like those odd numbers. So I just use like 5 over here. So I'm just continuing to do 5. And it's the same mark with one color for continuity. Wherever my eye is landing, I am not thinking about it. It's wherever I look and I feel like there's an empty spot, I'm just adding, I'm taking this parchment paper out because it's just getting in the way and not serving any purpose right now. And then I want to do a little bit of black. So I'm going to use some black and I want to make some marks. I'm just going to do some X's. 5 X's over there. 5 X's over there. 5 over there. And I think I'll do 5 over here. Make them really small. Okay, 5 X's over there. There's just, I just need to make a house. I just see a house here. I've never, in this entire journal, I've never made a house. I've made people, I've made leaves. I've never made a house. I wonder where that urge is coming from. I guess because the home is where everything is, right? The zen and the chaos, it is all kind of cohabitating. And I just have to make a house. I'm going to make a house. I don't know how to make a house. So I'm going to sketch it out and see what happens. I'm going to sketch it out with my Derwent Inktense pencil. I am going to grab let's see if I can find the indigo or the black. Those are my 2 go-to colors. I'm finding Payne's Gray. Deep indigo, here we go. I want to make a house. I don't know where to make the house though. Maybe I can make a series of houses. Maybe that's what this is. Maybe this is going to be a series of houses. I'm trying to envision what it's going to look like, and I have no clue what it's going to look like, but I'm just going to start sketching out a house and see where it goes. So a house has a roof. This is really, people, this is how I journal. I talk to myself exactly like this when I'm by myself, alone in this room. And I will say things like, a house has a roof. And then if my daughter's sitting right here, she'll be chuckling away. Because she's like, of course a house has a roof. What are you talking about? Yeah, kiddo. You don't know what I went through to get to this place. Okay, so I have, I think, my first house. I've got a roof. I've got a chimney. I've got a bottom here. So this is going to be my bottom. This is going to be my road, I guess. I want to make a series of houses because all of you are here. You're joining me from your houses. A neighborhood, a collective neighborhood of creatives. And it's not about where we are in the universe. I can totally see this emerging now. It's not about where we are in the universe. We're here together, regardless. And it's amazing that we can be. So let's see, what other shapes do houses have? Gosh, maybe a house that has a circular. Do houses have circular tops? I don't know. Okay, here's another one. It has to have a door. So it looks like a house. It has to have a door. Making a door. And I'll just make it conical. Because I don't think houses have circular tops. That'll be weird. Okay, so we got this one here, which is a bit higher than the other one. It has 2 windows here. And then it's bigger. So it can kind of go all the way here, take a bit of that lace in it, and come till here. And that's one house. And then let's make another house over here. This is, I don't know how it's going to shape out, but this is, it's interesting. It's interesting that this is what kind of came making houses. It just feels right. I don't know how else to make a house. I'm just making rectangles with triangles on top. I think that's what houses, I'll just make a shallower triangle on this one, maybe. It has a door. And then make another one here. So this is like, you know, making people is much easier for me. Faces at least that don't have any features. Because then I know that I could. Okay, so I have this house here and then and if you're not making houses, that's totally fine. I just felt like this very strong urge to do it, so I'm doing it. I've got a door here. Okay, I'm gonna stick some newspaper. I'm gonna see if I have any newspaper lying around. I usually do. I just want some, okay, and so this is our local newspaper, which is perfect because, you know, neighborhood and community and around town. I mean, it does not, seriously, I am not kidding you. This stuff happens to me all the time. Like things present themselves and it just starts coming together. I am not kidding about it. I don't know how it happens, but it happens 9 times out of 10 that I will just have stuff lying around. One thing leads to another and then suddenly it's like a thing that feels very well planned out when it really isn't. Like when I present my videos of journals after the fact, a lot of people reach out and, you know, they ask about, was that process really that organic? Well, yes, because you can see, yeah, there's nothing not organic about it. There's nothing planned. It just kind of comes together. So I have around town. And again, when I'm pasting these things here, when I'm doing any of this stuff, just know that a lot of it gets covered at the very end. But it's not about that. I'm not worried about what's going to get covered and what's going to stay. I know the houses are going to be the focal point. I know that now. But the rest of the stuff is just kind of there. It's hide and seek. And you've seen my hide and seek videos to know what I'm talking about. It's just, you know, playing and showing some parts of your journal page and hiding other parts. And I'm sure there's a term, an official term for that. People don't normally just call it hide and seek. That's what I call it. I'm just tearing out strips from my local newspaper, not really reading what's written on it. It's just from whichever page I first saw, again using my hands. Oh, this will be really cool if the whole bottom is newspaper, actually. The foundation, the grass, whatever. That'll be really cool. Okay, let's just do newspaper here. And I'm not going to stick it all like together. My layers are great. Thank you, Claudia, for saying that. It's evolving, isn't it? There's something about the county of Santa Clara in here. This is so cool because this is just, oh, this is blank. I don't even know what page this is, but there's like stuff in it about fictitious business name statement. Okay, let's get that. Laura just did some die-cut houses to the background of a few Christmas cards just earlier. Well, houses are definitely on my mind too, as you can see. Maybe it is, you know, I haven't been on social media that much except for posting on my Facebook group. So yesterday something really funny happened. It wasn't funny, but funny. In that I am still trying to figure out why it happened and how I can change it. So I posted a story on my Facebook profile. And for some reason, Meta decided to also post it on Instagram. I haven't been on Instagram since June. So suddenly I start getting notifications. So I get an email from Instagram saying somebody's sent you a private message. So I log on to Instagram and sure enough, there's like a bunch of messages from people I haven't talked to in a couple of months. Some of them were from people that are part of the Mansi Makes With You Facebook group. And so I have interacted with them since June, but there were others I haven't interacted with at all since June. It was nice. It was really nice to hear from people that I hadn't, you know, spoken to in a couple of months. But at the same time, they were all like excited about me being back on Instagram. I have absolutely no intention yet of being back. I scrolled through a bit as I was on there and it just brought back all of those feelings of feeling bullied and the fear and the depression that I felt, which forced me to leave that particular platform. I'm clearly not over it. I'm clearly not feeling brave enough to put myself out there because that to me feels very, very uncontrolled and it just, I'm not ready for that. But that's what happened yesterday. So I'm not on Instagram. This is my official statement declaring that I'm not back on Instagram. It's just that I need to figure out the settings on Facebook or Meta that stops doing that. Okay, so since I used Derwent Intense pencils, Claudia, I have never used rub-ons. I do not know what those are. I have no clue what those are. So please tell me what rub-ons are. I'm trying to look for a paintbrush and I should have water somewhere here. So I'm not really using paintbrushes because it's hard for me to hold them still. So this is my technique. When I'm using my Derwent Intense pencils these days, I was usually using my Derwent Intense pencil and then dipping my brush and then, you know, doing this. But I realized if I just squirt some water, because it's water reactive, it basically just, you know, becomes intensified. And I obviously put too much water, but I just want that outline. So I'm going to go back in here with my pencil real quick and make sure that this is the most prominent thing on this page. is this? Amy, I am, it's a private group. It's called Mansi Makes With You. I believe that it's not hidden. So if you search for Mansi Makes With You, you should be able to find it. It's also in a link at the end of all of my YouTube videos. So all you really just have to do is send a request and I will approve it. You do have to agree to be polite and kind to everybody in that community because I will not tolerate bullying of any kind with anything that I'm associated with. And most people are really nice. 99.9% of people that I have interacted with online are a blessing in my life. It's just that 1.1%, but it hurts, it stings, and it hurts more when it's people that, you know, you respect as icons in the industry that feel threatened and feel like they can bully you. And I got a lot of messages after I left Instagram in June telling me not to give in to the bullies and to block them and all that stuff. Yes, I know I can do that, but the feelings that I feel when I log on to that platform, it's not the same. It's never going to be the same ever again. So I don't want to bother with that. I don't need drama in my life. I'm happy where I am and I'm good. So I've got the houses. Now there's, again, a lot of chaos here. What I want to do is get all of that chaos out. So I want to use yellow and white. That's where I am feeling like I need to go. So I'm going to put I have used heavy gel thinking that it's white many a times. Do not do that. Put that away. Okay, so I'm just going to use some yellow and white. And we're just going to cover everything else up except for the houses. And then see how it looks. Okay? And I am going to use... I had 3 of those brushes, didn't I? Earlier on. Where did those other 2 go? There was a smaller brush in there. There it is. So I've got my yellow, I've got my white. I'm loading my brush with those 2. Oh, thank you, Claudia. Claudia says that they are translucent, so they look good on top of other layers. Rub-ons. Yes, I would love to see what they look like. Okay, so let's start doing this bit. This bit is scary because, you know, you're covering up every single thing that you just spent time making. And there are things in here that you probably loved that are now going away forever and ever more. But they'll still be there. They'll be there because you'll know that you made those things. So this is reductive style of painting, where you are covering up everything except what you want to stay in focus. And I love this style. I have done this many, many times in my journal. So you see how everything is just kind of going away and becoming one. When you have a lot of chaos, do this. It just channels everything in, and something will come to you. You might make leaves, you might make a face, and you don't need a lot of paint to cover up, because essentially what you're doing is letting that kind of blend away into the ether, so to speak. You don't want, unless you really want to like not show any parts of it, you just want very, very thin layer of paint. And this is the most difficult part. I was so scared of this, and I still am, you know. It's not, I won't say that it's become any easier because every piece is different. There are elements in every single piece that I love. And then they go away and it's like, wait, I just spent time, you know, making those X's and those things over there. But it's okay. It's okay. There are so many things that we do in life. You know, we don't dwell on them. We just keep moving on because every day is a new day. You just have to, really. You can't just keep dwelling on things that have happened in the past. You can't keep dwelling on the person you were in the past. Same. All of that, you know, it stirs up a lot of things in me when I'm doing this, because really, you know, people expect us to be the same lifelong, and that's not who people are supposed to be. We are supposed to evolve. We are supposed to change, and really that's what journaling is. It's a reminder of that. It's constantly changing. With every single minute it just changes. Okay, so I like that. I feel like I want to add some butterflies. I saw some butterflies earlier on my desk. Now this is the funky film from graphics from that earlier journal page that we started out with earlier this morning. So it'll be interesting to see how that looks. I might cover that up, I might not. We'll see. Just want to add a couple of butterflies here. I just like that, you know, it just comes together, like something happens. What brand of paint am I using? I'm using a lot of different brands actually. So I have the Liquitex Basics acrylics. I have the Color Shift from Folk Art. I have gesso. Actually, it's not a couple of different brands then. Oh yes, and golden. So it's the gesso, the white gesso is from Liquitex. The golden paint is the teal that I used. The fluorescent pink is the Liquitex Basics. The matte super heavy gel is also Liquitex. Liquitex is one of my favorite brands. I am really not sure with these funky butterflies how it'll come together. It'll come together though. I can see it coming together. And it's, you know, bravery. I think it's foolhardiness. You are very kind to call it bravery. But I really do think there's space. There's, you know, there's a place for being foolhardy, and that's in your journal. Why not? I mean, why not? So, if you ask yourself, how is this going to look? Do it. Do it, do it, do it. Okay, so this needs a little bit more definition. And I want some of this color here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my distress crayons. I have, let me see some colors. I keep gravitating towards these for some reason today. I have the jack-o'-lantern. I love the flickering candle. And I have some of this. These are all Christmassy colors, peppermint stick. So Halloween and Christmassy colors. And then I have my Stabilo. I like this one. I think it's kind of a tealish color. I'm just picking out the colors that I feel will bring this together. I have the Caran d'Ache orange, the Caran d'Ache yellow, and the Caran d'Ache red. And then I know I'll use some black at some point, and I also want to write something. So, how do we define these beautiful houses now? And maybe they need some trees in between. So maybe I can just do some green that I was gravitating towards earlier. So this is my green. The winter, what was this? Tree lot. Oh, it's called tree lot for trees. Not trying to make this realistic, but I just feel like it needs something to fill up that space. And it might make it completely messy, who knows? We shall see. But I got some green. I want to make sunset colors on the top is what that's kind of where my head is, which is why I picked up the yellows and reds, you know, or it could be a sunrise, I don't know, but something that has that feel, that bright, happy feel, you know, something about sunsets. It's like, it feels like everything's going to be okay. Like it's the end of something, but you also know that it means it's the beginning of something too. Something about that, I don't know. That's how I feel about sunsets. So I have never tried to do anything on the funky film itself. So I don't know if I want to make these, oops, butterflies. I might have to use the, let me just see actually, since this one came off, if it will take color. kind of does. Mutes it out. Mutes out the funkiness of it. So, actually, you know what? I'm going to take these butterflies out. I like the idea of these butterflies. I just don't think the funky foam butterflies are the way to go. We'll see about butterflies in a minute. Taking them out. It's completely okay to change your mind. Good reminder. Completely okay to change your mind. You don't have to stick with what you... It's nothing is set in stone. Again, a reminder. This is your page. Do as you will. You know? Don't forget that. This is for your own joy. And if something in here is not bringing you joy and is frustrating you, remove it. Paint over it. There's a page over here that this was a face, and I had shared photos of this on my Facebook group. This was a face. This said devoted. There's a label over here, a sticky label over here that I printed out using my label maker. It said devoted. This was a face. There was a nose here. There was a mouth here. I did not like that. Was my first journal page after the fall. I did not like it at all. I sat with it for a week, maybe 10 days. A lot of people commented on that page when I shared it, saying it's okay to, you know, this is the darkness coming out and all of that stuff. Yes, it was true. But as I was going through my journal page, I decided I didn't want that sadness in here. I didn't want to feel what I felt when I saw that page. I wanted it to be happy, and I was feeling happy the day I repainted over it. I just completely changed it. And there is, you know, decay over here and death, and, you know, the flower petals are falling off. But it's okay. It's your journal page. So if at the end of the day, after doing this journaling with me today, you do not like your page, change it. Nobody is going to sue you for it. Heck, nobody even needs to know what you did. I share because I want to encourage everybody else to know that it's okay. I would love for you to share, because then it makes it okay for other people too. I am not anybody special. I am just like you. I do not have a degree in art. I just show up every day, and I don't let anything limit me. That's all there is to it. If you don't let anything limit you, mostly it's us limiting ourselves, you know, it's us talking ourselves down or out of something. We tell ourselves, oh, we're not good enough, or no, this is not going to work, or, you know, things like that. We do it to ourselves. We really do. I do that too. And you got to stop doing that, because there's no escape from it then. And you just become so distraught because you cannot let yourself out of that cycle of not believing in yourself. As I'm rubbing with this, I can tell you that I can see all of the layers under and my scribbles that I scribbled. And it's just so amazing to see. Like, I can see the mandala. I'll show you close-ups in a minute. But as I'm rubbing the distress, it's just they're appearing. They're kind of reappearing in a different way. And you know what's under here. All of you do who've been watching this. You know what's under this. I'm just going to use a brighter yellow, and then I will use the flickering yellow. So this is my brighter yellow, I think. I'll use my Stabilo yellow. Let's see if that's a brighter yellow. So you see how this kind of emerged there. What can I say? This is what I do. And this is what I encourage you to do when it comes to your art. I don't want you to overthink it. I don't want you to think at all. I keep saying this for people who've taken workshops with me, with Maker Forte, or have taken any of my online classes. I usually almost always say, and this is repetition for a lot of you, I bet, who've taken my classes, I almost always say, take your brain and put it outside of your head when you're doing your art, because you don't need it. You do not need your brain at all when you're arting. Maybe even when you're journaling, you don't need your brain. You need your heart to do the talking. You need your heart to do the leading, you know? Let your heart lead and your hands will follow. That is my mantra. Just let your heart lead the way, and you will see how things just, they change and magic happens, and you're the one doing it. And you don't even know how you're doing it. You're just doing it because you have submitted yourself to the universe. I'm adding some bright green over here because it contrasts with that earlier layer of the dark green and just adds some more depth. And now I'm going to take my pen. Let's see. I've ruined so many pens because I keep writing on this stuff. I shouldn't use my pen. Let me find my, this is iron green. Let me find a pencil that's a darker color, like a brown maybe, that I can write with. This is a Shiraz, because I kid you not, I have ruined all of these Pigma pens because I just pick a pen out and I suddenly like write with it. But then I ruin the tip, so I don't recommend doing that. I've also done that with my Sharpies. Do not use any of your pens to scribble after you've put in so much stuff on this. It will ruin your pen. So use a pencil. I'm still trying to look for my brown. I found a red oxide. I think this is fine. And I'm going to write here. We may think that we are living a life of isolation, especially in light of this pandemic. But truly, what we are doing is living with others continually in harmony, although sometimes not, but always staying codependent on our neighbors, our friends, our online acquaintances who become friends. And all we always really want is to feel the same. To feel like we belong. To feel like there's someone else out there who gets who we are. Okay, for the house now, I do want those houses to have more definition. So I'm going to use this acrylic brush. This is again by Jane Davenport. And I'm just kind of going over my line that I had drawn with my pencil earlier. These are not architecturally sound houses, but they're houses. And I just noticed it's 11:38. I thought I would be done by 11:30. This is what happens when I go down the journaling rabbit hole. Henriette, I love that you wrote in Dutch. I don't understand a word of what you said. And I'm so glad to see you online, my friend. I know you've had a couple of rough weeks with your surgeries and everything, and it's just nice to see your name pop up. I've missed hearing from you in my comments, and you've always been so encouraging. Henriette has been following me since I used to do demos for Jelly Arts, and I just always love her positivity and encouragement. It just makes my day. Adding some grass scribbles, which I might regret doing. Always overdo my black, but then I know how to cover it up, so it's all good. Okay, get some more definition here in this house. I'm looking for a word I want to stamp over here. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. So I just want to stamp something over here. One word that you feel. Maybe it's a feeling. Maybe it's a feeling that this page evokes for you. I would love to hear your suggestions and see what resonates. Okay, just adding some more details over here. Maybe some windows on this side too. Gosh, these houses are terrible, but who cares? I don't care. I mean, I'm sure when my daughter comes home from school and she sees what I made today, she will have some choice words to use about my architecture, but that's okay. She is my little critic. Cozy. Hug. I love huggy. Huggy means heggy. Huggy, I think that's how you pronounce it. I love that word. I'm using that, Laura. Thank you. That's it. Using that. I will get my stamps out in 1 second. I have these wooden stamps. I'm going to get them out, just adding some details here so it all kind of feels, because I saw these gears and the lace, you know, I'm just trying to make this unified by adding these black details, because that then is where your eye goes to first. And then the last thing I like to do, if I have done this kind of reductive painting, is to just add some shadow areas with my Derwent Inktense pencil. So I will need to get my brush out again. And you see what I mean by not using a pen, because if you were to use a pen here, it would totally ruin the tip of your pen. You don't want to do that, because these, even if they're not expensive, I mean, why do you want to ruin your pens? I have learned it the hard way. So just adding some shadows here, and you will see that they do make a difference when I use my water and my brush. Just add some depth to your primary focal image. Gosh, I had no idea that this is where we would land with this. It's just, I don't like this. I don't like the black I did here. So I'm just going to cover that up with some green. I'm going to get some more green. Maybe some aquarelle green. See, I have acrylic paint on my crayon tips. Maybe we can use both Hygge and Home. I don't know. I'll see when I start getting the stamps out how it all looks. And then maybe I will add the butterflies at the very end, because I do want to have butterflies for some reason. You know, butterflies are all about transformation and growth and all of those things. And I don't know, I'm looking for my brush. There's my brush, there's my water. So I only have my water squirter here, so I'm just going to use this and just add those shadows. Again, you can see I am not really fancy with my use of, oh, I need to have this palette, and oh, I need to, those are just excuses, you know. If it makes it easier for you to do something in the moment, don't worry about having the right set of accoutrements to do it. Doing it is more important, I feel. So if you don't have just the right brush that you need and you don't have a palette, just use what you do have that you've surrounded yourself with and just do it. Do not use not having what you absolutely, would have in a perfect world, in a perfect setting as an excuse to not do something. Okay. Maybe I'm just going to use the tip of this to get some of that color on to this. And another way you can add lightness to a page is by splattering, which I'm going to do in a minute, because as I was picking up the paint or the ink, the pigment from the tip of this pencil, I realized I could add some more lightness to this page, the top of this page, with some splatters. I do not want to do white splatters. People almost always do white splatters. I want to do gold splatters. Do I have any gold paint anywhere? Let me look. I should have some gold somewhere. This feels like it's gold. It's iridescent gold. Ooh, I haven't used iridescent gold in forever. Let me see if I can get this. Oh no, I got so much out. Okay. Too much. Don't need that much for splattering. So here we go. I think some of these houses are going to get some gold. Maybe the door can be gold. A little bit of gold. That's a nice touch. Something common that's there in each of. So you see what I mean by accidents? This is what I mean by accidents. Things will happen and then I will just tie things together with that. I'm just adding some gold here at the bottom now. Because why not? Okay. All right. For people who need to go, please go. This was not planned to go on for 2 hours. It feels like we're heading towards 2 hours. You will get a link to the replay in your email, so you can watch this video however many times you would want to watch it. And if you missed bits of it here and there, that's totally fine. Just watch it whenever. I really appreciate people taking the time to do this and having the courage to do it, because I know it takes courage when you're first starting out to just say, you know what, I'm just going to try something out and I don't know where I'm going to end up, but I get bonus points for trying it out. You always get bonus points. I always give myself bonus points when I survive a journaling session that actually has come together. This is my very fancy way of splattering. I know I actually have a splatter box, but who's going to get up and get that? I do want to make this burlap. So I'm just, because I now have extra gold, I'm just kind of adding it to some parts. The windows, that was the only house with windows. Wow, I didn't make windows in any of the other houses. Well, there should be windows in every house, right? How did I miss that? The house should have windows to let the light in. Maybe this one can have one small window here. And then just add some gold to that. You mean Tim's 3-hour streams? Gosh, the stamina. I love Tim Holz's streams. He is just such an amazing human being. I have to say this in public because he was one of those people who reached out to me when that whole Instagram stuff happened, and his email means the world to me. It brings tears to my eyes even now thinking about it, but he was one person. He's been my rock. He really has. There are very few people like him in this world, and I am so blessed to call him a friend. I really am. He kept me going. He kept me going when I had not painted, not watercolored for close to 30 years. He encouraged me to pick up that paintbrush, and I started watercoloring with Distress Ink reinkers because I was just so afraid to buy watercolors because of everything that had happened in the past in my history with watercoloring. But he encouraged me, That's what got me back into watercoloring, and he's just been there for me, and I cannot appreciate him enough. Okay, I'm going to stamp the word. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up the meaning of hygge. Let's see. Hygge. I'm also checking the spelling just to make sure I'm not saying, Laura, that you don't know the correct spelling. So hygge is hygge. Hygge. How do we say this? Let me see. Hygge. I did a Google pronunciation. Wait, I gotta increase my volume. I should know this, shouldn't I? I just don't want to mispronounce it. Hygge. Hygge. Okay. I did not know that, so I was pronouncing it wrong. I should know how to pronounce the word that I'm about to stamp. Hygge is a quality of coziness and comfortable conviviality that engenders a feeling of contentment or well-being. It's regarded as a defining characteristic of Danish culture. Okay, hygge. I hope I'm saying that correctly, Henriette. Hygge. Okay, so we're going to do hygge. Okay, let's do hygge. So I have my Y. I have my GG. This is really funny. This freaks me out when stuff like this happens. My G and G are together. They're never together. And there's an E right here. Like, how does this stuff happen? There's an H. But the G and G were together right next to the E. Like, this was meant to be. This is the stuff, I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's when you're looking for things like this and noticing them. It's so crazy. Okay, so we've got the H. I have wet paint here somewhere. Okay, so we've got the H. And then we've got the Y. Ah! Okay, I'm going to fix that later. Got the G. I'm pressing really hard my stamp pad because I know of how many layers there are here. Got the other G. I got my E. I like that. It just makes me so happy to see that come together. Got my E. Hygge. Okay, and I'm going to take my black. I'm actually going to use my heat gun, and I'm sorry this is going to be loud because I don't want this pigment ink to stay wet because I am going to smudge it. I'm just going to fill that in. H, Y, G, G, E. Okay, and then I have to use a pastel to make sure that word actually stands out. And I don't want to use black, it's too harsh. So I'm going to use a brown. And I don't want to do a whole rectangle this time either. I don't want to confine that. And what I mean by confine is when I did these, I made a rectangle around the words, and I don't want to enclose it. I just want to have something that defines, just makes it stand out, but softly, you know, because it's a soft, cozy feeling. So I hope this helps when I talk about the choices I'm making, why I'm making them. I hope this helps you understand the choices I'm making, because it may feel like it's all random, and it mostly is, but there's a reason I go for what I'm going for. There usually is a reason. Whether I'm able to articulate it or not in the moment is another thing. I do have die cuts. I'm trying to see if I have any butterflies that are not Ooh, I have a gold butterfly. Okay, you know. Just one gold butterfly. Will you believe that? I seriously just have one gold. Well, it's meant to be on this page. This butterfly is meant to be on this page. And I just have to figure out where it's going to be. But it's going to be on the burlap. That's where I gravitated towards. So that's where it's going to be. And I want to write something over here because I want to write something here about community. How much writing do I do? I do so much writing. Just checking out to see. I am going to use one of my pens. I just want to scribble on something. Okay, this works. I'm going to write first and then stick the butterfly. I'm going to write the meaning of hygge. Hygge is a quality. Oh, this is not going to work. Okay, pencil, 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 pencil. Let's see if this works. It works, but it's too light. Oh, I just hate it when I cannot find my black pencil when I need it. It's here somewhere. When I found Chinese ink, I think this is the same as, yes, this is dark, is a quality. Yes, much better. I want it to be prominent. Hygge. Hygge is a quality of coziness and comfortable. So I don't know what conviviality means. So I'm just going to say hygge is a quality of creating a warm atmosphere. And enjoying I don't want to write on tissue and then collage it down. I want it on the page. I want it to be on the page. But that is a good option. You could write it on tissue and then collage it. Enjoying the good things in life. And I'll tell you why I want it on this page. The good things in life. With good people. I'm reading it off of my laptop. With good people. And I'm going to add my own feeling to this. Hygge for me means letting go of my fears and creating something that feels good. It may not look good, but it feels good, and that's all that matters. Hygge. I have to keep correcting myself. I really need to learn how to pronounce this properly. Hygge is being with my friends in real life and those I've made online. Because they make me feel loved, safe, and appreciated. That's all of you. So here's my hygge. And I'm going to add my butterfly. That's going to be my cherry on top. I'm going to call it done. I don't know if I still have any of my collage medium left. Probably not. I'm just going to stick my finger in there. I shouldn't do that, but I don't need a lot. You know, one last thing I am going to do is, which I really want to do, I'm just looking at this from a distance. I just happened to glance at the screen. You know that circle, the dots stencil that we got out earlier? I'm just going to add this. It's going to be very, very subtle. But I just want to add it because so many people said circles. And the initial circles we made just are gone. So I do want to honor that. And I don't want to go over the top with this either. I just want it to be a subtle thing in the background. So just blend it out a bit if it feels too much. Make it a bit more amorphous as we go. And I want to add the circles here to kind of round it out, to create balance. Why I didn't want to use tissue paper. So there's a lot. I'll move this closer to the screen so you can see this part in a minute, but there's a lot of scribbly handwriting. There's scratching and scribbly handwriting. I wrote 3 times total. So the earlier 2 times are also in there. And if I use tissue paper, that would get lost. I don't want to lose that. I want that to show through the top layer of writing. Okay, and I'm just going to add a bunch over here just to balance it out. I don't want to go overboard with my gold, but I just feel it adds that little extra special something. And done! Ta-da! Okay, I've got gold in my pencils. I gotta wipe everything up. But let me bring this closer to the screen so you can see all the layers and all the details. Okay, so let me just open my thing and see what you can see. So here we have the gold, we have the hygge, we have the writing that I did. This is the second layer of writing that I did with my red oxide. This is not with the scratching that I did. You can also see the gold splatters in there. And it's almost like those bubbles are permeating from those gold splatters, right? So you've got all of that going over here. And then you have on this side the burlap providing texture. So it's grounding the butterfly, which is why I wanted to do the butterfly on the burlap. It kind of has, the butterfly has something to hold onto. It's not just floating around. I wanted that to be grounded. That feeling of metamorphosis, that feeling of liberation. You know, you can stay grounded, but you can still feel that way. I just love that juxtaposition between these two. And what a find to be able to just find this. Okay, and then you have the writing here. So you see what I was saying by the 2 layers. So there's the scratching bit of the writing that I did the first time around. There's the scratching bit right here under the hygge. And then I have the red oxide pencil writing. And it's all there along with the gears, right? I did not want to lose that. If I added tissue paper and scribbled on that and then collaged it on, I would have lost that. I didn't want to lose that. And then you have the gold again over here, the circles. You have around town from my local newspaper. It's still there, it's visible, it's just not in your face. So again, the thing about this journal page or any journal page that I create is about finding things. Every time you look, you're going to find something different. This is from that radiating stencil that we had and the cookie cutter. You could also use a lid, you know, any lid for this. So you have those circles. So I am able to see all the various elements, you know, of all the things that I used. Let's see, I'll turn this around so you can see the teal. You see the teal circle and the tissue paper we used to wipe through, or I used to wipe through, the Stabilo pencil to add some more character to it. So there's my red mark from the marks that I did, the mark making that I did. I just saw the black marks over here by this door. So all of that is here. It's just not all in your face. what you see here, I do want to correct this. This is bothering me. This black that it went over, it's bothering me. It normally doesn't, but it is, because that is the most prominent thing on this page, and I don't want that feel like that. Let me see if I can just make it go away. I'll probably make it worse if I do this. So let me see if I can just quickly use a Posca marker, because this is really bothering me. And you know, this is what happens when I'm doing my journaling. One thing leads to another. So now, because I did orange over there, and the orange over there is going to look odd by itself, now all of the hygge will need to get a bit of that orange treatment, which is okay. But that is what happens. That is how things come about. That is exactly how things come about with me. It's not planned. I'm showing you this and I'm going, okay, that's really bothering me. I cannot get past it. My eye keeps going there and I just need to fix it. And so I fix it. And now it will have this cool sticker-like effect. And I got to use another medium that you can see. A Posca acrylic marker. There we go. And we have the hygge a bit more prominent, thanks to that smudge on the H. Okay, so here we have it. This is it. And it was a marathon, 2 hours. We started at 10. I didn't start journaling exactly at 10, but this feels right. It feels done. It feels complete. And if you want to share what you made, I don't want you to be afraid. It will not look like mine because you did your own thing. It will look like yours, you know, and it'll be fine the way it is. You are your own worst critic. You might not like what you make. I will also say that because a lot of people don't. I usually don't like what I make right at the outset. I don't stop working on it till I like it. This is the point where I am happy with every single aspect of this page. Every single thing on this page, as imperfect as it is perfect to me. And if you want to share yours, please, please, please do come to the Facebook group. It's called Mansi Makes With You. I will add a link to the description in the YouTube video. I will also send a follow-up email to everyone who registered with a link to the group in case you're not part of it yet. Please come there. It is a wonderful community of creatives who are always very supportive, very encouraging. There is no bullying. There is no showing people down. People share, and they share because they feel safe and comfortable to share, and they get cheered on by everyone. So if you're not part of that group, please come, please join it, please share your work. Please continue to inspire me, encourage me, and get inspired and encouraged by others. It's really a beautiful community, and hygge is really what defines that community online. It defines my experience with all of you who are watching me here today, with all of you who have joined the group that have, you know, just helped me keep this passion alive. And I was super, super scared this morning when I pressed the go live button because I had no idea what would happen, and look what happened. So thank you again so much from the bottom of my heart, the top of my heart, the middle of my heart, from all of my heart, for your support and for being here. You are all the very best. And yes, thank you. And if you've shared, if you've created something, please do share it. I would greatly appreciate it. And I hope to do many more lives coming up, not next week because it's Thanksgiving, but definitely in early December and the second up to the third week of December. And then we'll call it the end of the year. Where did this year go? So yes, I'm looking forward to more lives. I'm looking forward to more intuitive playing with all of you. My paper dolls course should be out next month, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So if you're interested, sign up for the newsletter. It's on my website, and you will be able to get access to that. So thank you again for coming. I really appreciate each and every one of you watching this. It was a huge time commitment. I know 2 hours is a lot, but I hope that you took away some things that will help you with your art journaling, with your journey, with your process, and that if you have any questions, just feel free to ask me. If you don't feel comfortable publicly sharing your art, but you want some feedback, I'm happy to help. Send me a message on Messenger, send me an email. My email is info@mansimakes.com. Contact me through my website. However I can help you feel more confident as an artist, I'm here to do that, because each one of you is an artist, whether or not you believe that. You are. And I'm here to help you find that truth out. So please do reach out if you need me. I'm here to help. And I will see you all again shortly. Thank you again so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.